Japan is over. It's over. The amount of radiation that has been released into the Earth's atmosphere is potentially catastrophic. The amount that's been released in the immediate area around Japan and the wider Japan is unthinkably catastrophic. And we you know, I mean, people are already starting to go down with the effects of it, and we've seen nothing yet. What HAARP does is it fires radio waves, very, very focused and very powerful, into the upper atmosphere known as the ionosphere, and it entrains, as they say. It gets the ionosphere to vibrate in sympathy with the radio wave. And this creates a situation where this entrainment adds massive, massive, massive power to the original radio wave, and then it's bounced back to Earth, massively greater power, and they can hit a specific spot on the Earth. And if they can hit somewhere which is vulnerable in terms of earthquakes anyway, and they can do it at a specific frequency, because the earthquakes have a frequency like everything does, then they can cause an earthquake and they can cause a tsunami. And they can cause, with the same principle, they can cause very great extremes of weather, like hundreds of unprecedented tornadoes that appeared in 2007 and killed hundreds of people in America. And, you know, people say, oh, no, you can't mess with the weather, it's ridiculous. Well, hold on a second. There are international treaties which countries have signed saying that it's illegal to manipulate the weather and to use it as a weapon of war. Well, they're not going to have those treaties unless they know it's possible. It's ridiculous. And so we have a situation where, yes, of course there are natural earthquakes, but they don't all have to be. And you can bomb somewhere from an aircraft, or you can cause devastating earthquakes and devastating weather events, and you can bring the countries to their knees that way. And in many ways, you know, people within countries, many of them anyway, within the establishment, you know, they know that Fukushima and that earthquake and tsunami and everything, they know it was created. It wasn't a natural event. And what that says to them, and what they're saying to them with that event is, if you say no to us, look what we can do. If they want to bring Japan to its knees, they've got to find a way, like they did in with the two, you know, Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of the Second World War. But today they would have to find an excuse to send the boys in. Well, they can't find an excuse. So instead of that, we'll go the way that they have, because Japan is over. It's over. The amount of radiation that has been released into the Earth's atmosphere is potentially catastrophic. The amount that's been released in the immediate area around Japan and the wider Japan is unthinkably catastrophic. And we you know, I mean, people are already starting to go down with the effects of it, and we've seen nothing yet. This was a, you know, you have these James Bond movies, written by a British intelligence agent, by the way, where you have the guy on the island with the fantastic technology, or the guy with the satellite in the sky that can, you know, cause devastation on Earth. And he holds the world to ransom on the basis of, I won't use it only if you do this. Blackmail. Well, this is what's happening in the real world because of this technology that they have. And, you know, Tesla, in an interview with the New York Times in the 1940s, I think it was, maybe a bit earlier, he said that he had the technology to split the Earth in half. Then he was producing lightning around his home in New York. The neighbors were calling the police. He was causing kind of mini earthquakes, getting the Earth to shake because of the technology he had, and thousands of windows were breaking before he could switch it off. And Bernard Eastland, the man who applied, first of all, for the patent for the technology that is used in HAARP, based in Alaska. But there's connecting technology all around the world. That's just the main focal point. He mentions Tesla when he's applying for the patent. It's Tesla technology. And if Tesla could, you know, do that devastation he said he could do back in the 1930s and 40s, what the heck can they do now?
People have perceived me as claiming to be some kind of prophet. Now, it depends how you perceive the word prophet. If you perceive it as someone sitting in a darkened room and getting it from the ether, then I'm not that kind of prophet, really.
I've got somebody who's shaking his head violently.
I'm just trying to work out. You're trying to tell us now exactly what the Bible actually means. How do you know this? I mean, how can you honestly say that you're telling us what the Bible, how the Bible's written? You're actually telling us what it is.
How can you tell me what it means? How can the local priest tell me what it means?
Through beliefs of Christianity.
Yeah,
and the rest of it. But you're trying to denounce that. You're saying no, that the Bible is not correct. And that's,
it is
surely
not correct.
That's really hurt a lot of religious people.
It is fundamentally confused. But
how do you come to that conclusion that it's fundamentally confused?
Because I am in contact and in communication with those at the highest levels of creation who are passing on this information. You see, you're shaking your head, my friend.
Can I ask you then, you're saying you're in contact with the highest communications. Would that be God, or...?
But with the being we call the Godhead, certainly. But you see, how do you think...
What Christians would call God.
What Christians would call God. You are in direct communication with God. That's where you get your voices from and everything else, yeah?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Right.
Now, just let me ask you this question. How do you think the being Jesus got his information? How do you think the being Jesus communicated with God, as the Bible says he did? How did he do it?
In a radio broadcast...
Let's just clarify that.
You said he was dead.
Saddam Hussein is dead.
You said he is dead.
Let's put it this way. The spirit of Saddam Hussein's physical bodies will become clear within the next few months. But yeah, but
carry on.
You can ask a question.
You said you said he was dead.
Yeah.
Now, you were interviewed again on a radio program shortly after that.
Yeah.
It was put to you again, and you still insisted that was true.
That's correct.
Right. And you said wait and see.
Yeah.
Now I am prepared to wait and see.
Yeah,
but I'm looking for some sort of credibility, and I've waited and I've seen what is evidently Saddam Hussein on television.
Yeah.
Are you saying that that is an actor? Is it old film? Or is Saddam Hussein dead?
Let David answer.
Well, two things here. There's 2 points I want to pick up, so let me get rid of the Saddam Hussein thing as quick as I can. The truth about why the Middle East war was fought has never been told. Kuwait was not the reason, it was the excuse, and by early in the new year, I'll be able, this is not the time, but I'll be able to explain exactly the situation. All I can say to you is Saddam Hussein is not in a physical body. People like Greg Braden and others have started to focus on this particular image. Back in 1899, something was identified called Schumann cavity resonance. What it was the heartbeat, the frequency beat of the Earth. From the time of its discovery, 1899, to 1986, this heartbeat frequency was a constant 7 cycles, 7.8 hertz a second. Constant. Boom, 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 boom. From 1986 onwards, it started to rise dramatically. Just when people started to wake up in increasing numbers. It's gone through 9, apparently the last I heard it was gone through 10 cycles. And the projection is that by 2012, which is the point the Maya say in their calendar, and so many other calendars point to the same period, that the jump will be made from this cycle of human evolution into the next one as the 26,000-year cycle comes to an end and we enter the start of the next one. At the same time that this resonant frequency of the Earth, boom, 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 is getting quicker, and therefore affecting us, coming in through the heart for those that are open and resonate in our bodies increasingly, and changing our minds and our perception of life, the magnetics of the planet are also dropping, like they are on the sun, very dramatically. 2,000 years ago was the peak of this cycle when the Earth's magnetic field was at its most powerful. It's been falling ever since, and it falls exponentially. The quicker it falls, the more it falls, the more it falls, the quicker it falls. And the projection is that what Braden calls 0 point, 2012, is that the magnetics will reach virtually zero, if not zero, on the planet, and 13 cycles a second will be reached by the Schumann cavity resonance, the heartbeat. Now, one thing's for sure, at that time, The Price is Right ain't going to be on the telly, because this world is going to be very, very different by then. And this is what we're heading for now. Now, the reason this brotherhood have focused on the millennium rather than this real point of change, because we have the millennium because of the Gregorian calendar, which came out of the Vatican, they are trying to do a situation through the microchipping whereby we are held back artificially from making this leap of consciousness into a totally different state of being. Why is the magnetics of the planet falling? Very simple. When you put an electrical charge through an iron bar, it creates a north and south pole. When you put the charge the other way, the poles magnetically flip. If you look at the geological and other evidence, this has happened again and again on this planet, many, many times. There has been a magnetic pole shift when the whole magnetic field of the Earth has flipped, which has, of course, serious consequences and brings about tremendous change. Now, what is it that creates the Earth's magnetic field? It is the Earth spinning. Therefore, it throws out this electrical charge that creates the Earth's magnetic field. One other thing that's being identified as this change unfolds is that the Earth is spinning slower and slower. As it does so, the power of the magnetic field that it creates is getting less and less powerful. And again, the projection is around 2012 that the Earth could stop spinning altogether for about 3 days and then start to spin the other way. And what will happen at that point? The poles will flip magnetically. And the poles will change, and that, the geological and other records show, has happened again many times. Indeed, you look at some of the ancient texts and descriptions, they talk about phenomena that fit very well into this happening before. They talk about the longest day, the longest night, and what have you. Now, one thing's for sure, at that time, The Price is Right ain't going to be on the telly, because this world is going to be very, very different by then.
Because it is going down. It's going to go forward for a few years yet. No one have the illusions about that.
How long, David?
My view is, and I think 2012 is a diversion, personally, and I think you're going to see that exploited by Hollywood movies and other things.
See it already?
Yeah. Well, my feelings around 2016, life in this reality is going to transform.
Right now I'm a beggar. Apparently I can go to jail.
What happened last night, mate?
Fucking ridiculous.
What happened last night?
Last night I'm sleeping in my tent, and at about 1 o'clock in the morning. It was such a pain in the ass when we had a window because, you know, we locked the keys in the car.
Yeah, that's Bam Margera from Viva La Bam, his own TV show on MTV, and also from Jackass.
People have perceived me as claiming to be some kind of prophet. Now, it depends how you perceive the word prophet. If you perceive it as someone sitting in a darkened room and getting it from the ether, then I'm not that kind of prophet, really.
You are in direct communication with God. That's what. Well, that's where you get your voices from and everything else. Yeah.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Right.
Now, just let me put.
And we are all, and my God, I'm full of shit. I mean, you know, let's be honest here. I'm full of shit, me. And it's fun. It makes life interesting being full of shit. I don't want to be perfect. It's a bore.